Welcome in, everyone. Cassie Soto here with you, and here with news that the Raiders players have decided to skip out on in-person voluntary offseason programs this year and will repeat last year's virtual OTAs. Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore got that story for us. Vinny, take us through this decision that you wrote was not unanimous.
No, it wasn't unanimous, and there's a lot of young players on this team that want to get out there and get to work as quickly as possible. Now, keep in mind the in-person, on-field element of OTAs. Don't start until May 19th or 17th, right around then. So there's still a month or so to play with here. So even though, as of right now, the Raiders and a handful of other teams have decided to skip it, that can change. And so, but as of right now, they're going to go ahead and, out of concern, quote unquote, for COVID-19, they're going to skip the in-person aspect of OTAs. But I wouldn't read too much into the COVID-19 aspect of it. I think there's bigger things in play here. I think, the Players Union isn't too happy with the 17th game being added to the schedule, even though they signed off on that during the collective bargaining agreement that was put in place last summer. So this is a way, perhaps, for them to use this as a negotiating lever to get something out of this that they want. Maybe it's a revamped OTA format. Maybe it's something else that they're after. So there's a bigger issue here than individual players, many of whom want to be out there playing.
Yeah, Vinny, you mentioned that, and just going off that, we've seen all across social media Raiders players working out here in Las Vegas together. They've got videos up of them doing drills. You mentioned some underlying issues here. If you were maybe a fly on the wall in that room, what do you think you would have heard? Because as we know, there's even some incentives for players to participate in off-season workouts. So they obviously, are trying to get checks, trying to improve, and we know that this defense struggled last year. So these players want to be on this field, but you mentioned the underlying reasons are a little bit bigger than concerns of coronavirus.
Sometimes you're in between a rock and a hard place. Putting your own journey and your own process and where you are in your career and what you want. You have to sometimes balance that with the collective, which is the union and all of the players. And there, it seems, the union itself is trying to use this to get something else, negotiate something else. And in the meantime, there's some players that just want to be out there getting better and solidifying themselves and making a name for themselves, seizing an opportunity that are kind of caught in between that rock and a hard place, and it's bigger than they are right now. So, it's a tough situation because a lot of the people that are making this decision are the very players who utilized and used these very steps right now in OTAs earlier in their career as younger players to help establish themselves. And now they're on the other side looking back, and for whatever reasons they're doing this, they're taking that away from younger players who want to get to where those guys are getting to. So, it's a tough situation.
Oh, you mentioned that there's still about a month or so before any of this, really comes to fruition, and there's still maybe some time for those players to change their minds. But let's go ahead and look at the defense here, a young defense that struggled last year. We know that there's a new guy in charge here in Gus Bradley. If the decision stands to not hold in-person OTAs, where do you think that puts this Raiders defense that is trying to get better and really, takes away that head start that they should be going after?
Yeah, well, get ready for more Zoom meetings, which is going to be part of it anyway. But you didn't want it to be exclusively Zoom meetings. What coaches want and what a lot of players want is, those Zoom meetings and whatever it is that you have to do in order to satisfy all the protocols in place. But then also be able to get on the field and apply what you're learning in those classrooms and those Zoom meetings to the actual field. That's the element that was missing last year, and it hurt the Raiders. It hurt young players across the league. And for it to potentially be that way again for a second straight season, it's going to have an effect. There's no question it's going to have an effect. So they're going to have to make use of all of their time on Zoom meetings. We'll see what happens in this next month or so to see if anything changes. But if not, it's really going to put an onus on these guys to come prepared in training camp, to get after it as quickly as possible and get things put together as quickly as possible without having that on-field element of OTAs again.
We might be seeing a lot more park meetups here around the city of
Yeah.
Las Vegas, Vinny. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next month. Obviously, we have the NFL draft coming up here in 2 weeks. It's crazy to think that that's coming up again, another virtual draft. But we will have all the Raiders fans covered at vegasnation.com for everything they need to know leading up to the NFL draft and, of course, to the start of off-season OTAs. Vinny, thank you, as always, for your hard work. Really appreciate it.
All right, Cassie, have a good one. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Once again, you can head on over to vegasnation.com for all of your latest Raiders updates. Thanks so much for watching.